formed there is what now sociologists call and anthropologists call the cargo cults,
Oh.
which are people who worship Westerners as if they are gods because they arrive bearing gifts and they offer kind of like assistance to the local population. This reached an absolute kind of pinnacle with sort of World War One when and World War Two when the planes were flying over and dropping off cargo on the
Mhm.
islands for the locals, for the soldiers that were involved in the fighting the wars in the Pacific. And the locals started seeing these Westerners kind of bringing these gifts, and they started forming cults to it. And the reason this happened specifically in Melanesia, there's
Mm.
two theories. The one is that basically their religion had primed them for it by telling them for millennia that guys were going to come, they were going to bring food and gifts, and these guys are your saviors, and they're going to stop an Armageddon, and they're going to turn the island into a paradise. So when these kind of Westerners arrived with the planes and the flying and the
Wow.
canned foods and things,
Wow.
this seemed to fit the prophecy. So now
Gee, this is
all these
amazing
so
stuff.
all these tiny little kind of cults built up around it, and to the point that they will create fake landing strips that they worship at instead of altars, because a landing strip brings another plane that brings more gifts. You see,
Wow.
and they'll make wicker aeroplanes and these sorts of things. But
Wow.
it's a very serious kind of cult, and
Yes, it is.
no, it's a
Okay.
they're very
No,
serious.
but
And
I
then
find it
what
tender
they
and lovely.
and then what happened with Prince Philip was that they heard that the head of all of
Mm.
these planes, the person who was in charge of all of these planes, the Queen of England,
Mm.
was going to come visiting. And of course, the Queen isn't as important as her male consort, being Philip, the
Mm.
Duke of Edinburgh.
Mm.
So he must be the ultimate boss. He must be the god that has been bringing these gifts.
Shucks.
And so there is a cult that worshipped Prince Philip as its deity. There is an alternate theory, which is that very purposefully, these cultures in Melanesia were choosing to worship the plains and choosing to worship the people as a way to accept Western kind of largesse into their lives without changing their own culture. So what they were doing was saying, "Oh well, Western largesse is a thing. We can take the cars and the canned foods and things." So it was like a rejection. It was a colonialism rejection.
Mm-hmm.
It was an active defense against colonialism, because in accepting it this way, they got to accept Westernization on their own terms and from within their own culture, and therefore accept the benefits of Westernization
Mm-hmm.
without changing their own culture. So there's another kind of sort of
Yeah.
more intellectual approach to this
Yeah.
as well. But yeah, essentially, so then Prince Philip didn't know that he was a god. He didn't know that there was this cult like to him, and the British ambassador to the region actually told him,
Gosh.
and they said, "Listen, this cult wants a photo of you." So Prince Philip, obviously, because he's a bit of a dick, he lent into this, right? So he sent them a photo of him, to which they then sent him back a traditional like pig killing club, which he took a photo of himself with the pig killing club, and he sent them back another photo. And these photos now
Oh, yeah, that great chap.
the
Great
chief
chap.
the chief of the the chief of the village looks after the photos. They're
Fucking hell.
treated as religious relics. He actually took a delegation that flew to London and met with Prince Philip there, who Prince Philip
Seriously.
gave them all gifts.
Good
They flew
bloody
back.
grief, man.
Yeah, when Prince Philip died, they had weeks of mourning ceremonies and ritual and things about his death.
Man, oh man, oh man.
And then there was an anthropologist that said, Kirk Huffman, he said that after a period of mourning, the group is probably going to transfer their veneration to Prince Charles, who visited Vanuatu in 2018 and met with some of the
Vanuatu,
tribal
yeah.
leaders.
Vanuatu.
So it's a tiny little sect in Vanuatu who reveres Prince Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh, as their god. Just because of this kind of strange quirk of the way that the world worked. It's awkward and it's interesting.
Very interesting.
And difficult to deal with. But there you
Wow.
are, the cult of Prince Philip, and it's actually, I think it's called the Prince Philip. I'll tell you, it's got a name. I've written it down somewhere. But
Man.
yeah, it's like the the movement of the Duke of Edinburgh or something. It's Anyway, there you go.
Right, I loved that. That was really cool, and I'm a big fan of the Crown And I mean the TV show and
Are you
the
headed off
actual
to
thing.
Vanuatu now? Are you
That's
gonna go
sweet,
and join
man.
the? I mean, if there is an asshole, I mean that guy. He's got that thing that British people, that oh yes, I'm very chummy, very friendly, very lovely person.
Oh yes, I'll
But
send
he's
him a
actually just a
photograph. Yes,
massive
it'll be
oppressive
lovely.
colonial racist. Like what I'm. And I feel the same way about the Queens. I'm not mourning her death.
I'm mourning.
No,
Morning.
give
Morning
us
has
back. Give us back the diamonds.
It's coming. It's coming.
You think so? You think they're gonna send us our shit back?
Hey, Megan had tea with Tutu, man. It's all happening.
I mean, I think you know what I think is the next step. You guys will know whether this comes true. I think Diana comes out of hiding. I think Meghan Markle has the first good night's sleep she's had in years. She's been expecting to crash into a tunnel wall for fucking months. This is you guys will know if it's come true.
We're gonna cut this part out.
No,
British
we're not.
people.
No, we're not.
We're gonna cut this part out.
I'm a sinner. I'm a sinner. I can foresee the future. This is what's happening.
You're becoming a charismatic leader, Warren. Be careful.
Starting a cult. Join me. Join us.
Here's my next fact. This is gonna blow your balls off.
Yeah, we're close though. We're multiple choice.
One more,
next.
then it's multiple choice.
Yeah. Deeds, chill. We're there.
I think. Is it in?
We're close though, Deeds.
Okay.
We're close.
nice-
Mine's a quick one.
Yeah,
Multiple choice.
mine will be quick. A 1988 statistic showed that more than 223,000 men had been flirty fished by the Family International.
Flirty fish.
I'll repeat that. A 1988 statistic showed that more than 223,000 men had been flirty fished by the Family International.
Oh, you mean fished like PHISED, not
hell.
just fished like
Oh,
a
do
fish.
I? Do
yeah,
I?
yeah, I think you do.
I mean fish like a fucking fish, pal.
like with a
Yeah.
hook and a line.
I'm going to get...
Oh, see, what you're saying is these people were lured into a cult by women who were flirting with them.
I'm saying nothing.
No, yeah, I mean, you have to give me some sort of, what does flirty fish mean? Listen, you didn't make this term up. It's true, Ryan. It's true.
Okay, are you saying the
It's
fact
true.
is
It's
true?
all
The fact
true.
is
The
true.
whole thing
And this
is
is
true.
where things get hectic. Flirty fishing
Yeah.
is a form of evangelism by sexual intimacy practiced from around 1974 to 1987 by the cult Children of God, currently known as Family International. Female members of children, I couldn't believe this, which was why I'm reading it to you. This will blow your balls off. Okay? Female members of Children of God or fisherwomen would apply their sexual appeal on fish, men from outside the cult, often but not always having sex, using the occasion to proselytize for Jesus and seek donations. The practice was a primary source of financial support and
Sure.
political protection for the cult and criticized as religious prostitution. Children of God have defended it as a way of bearing witness for Jesus to people who would not otherwise be open to it. According to some sources, over 200,000 men were fished and over 10,000 babies were born to cult women from 1971 and 2001. The practice was curtailed as sexually transmitted diseases spread through the cult and then abandoned in 1987, reportedly because of AIDS. There's more. This is fucked up, bro.
So this is the cult that, like, there's a lot of celebrities that were kind of part of this,
Yeah, the Phoenix children.
Right. So yeah, Joaquin Phoenix and
Yeah,
but that was
Puerto
until,
Rico, hey, missionaries.
That was until I think Joaquin Phoenix was about 4, or was it? Yeah. But there's other people like I think Rose McGowan
Yes.
was one of that part of that cult. She kind of grew up in that cult. Yeah, man, that's sick. I absolutely believe it. I mean, it's yeah.
Well, it's true, and we are. There's more you can read about this. We are pressed for time. This all blew my mind because of the biblical justification. The term is derived from Matthew 4:19 from the New Testament, in which Jesus tells fishermen that he will make them fishers of men. Cult leader David Berg extrapolated from this that women in his movement should be flirty fishers, also called
Jeez.
bait or fisherwomen. The targeted
So you
men
actually meant
were fish.
fishing.
Yeah, the cult publicized and things they targeted Oaks like small time business salesman in a hotel. You know,
Right.
they targeted him. Flirty fishing, 223,000.
Listen, so I'm ready to join a cult tomorrow. If you've got a nice cult, you've got a charismatic, good-looking leader, like this, I'm into it. If you want to flirty fish me into that cult, I'm there
Hectic,
every
eh?
day. I love your cult. I
Children
love it
of
already.
God. So yeah, there's.
But let's not commit suicide anytime soon. You know?
Yeah, but flirty fish him. Floaty fish is open for the
Flirty
fishes of men, rock and roll. But I mean,
Flirty
there's a sick, church leader going, yeah, ladies, we need members. So whatever means necessary,
I mean,
get in there.
that's ultimately
Jesus
it, right?
but he even called it like sort of Jesus loving. So if you shag the oak, it's sort of no, it's Jesus loving. You're witnessing the Lord. Ooh,
Yeah,
ooh.
dark. Yeah, I
Anyway.
mean, listen, I'm admirous of this guy and his ability to create a successful cult. He's created probably the most disgusting cult in the history of the world, but like the most abusive, awful cult. But like everybody who's escaped from it just talks about how awful it is.
Jeez,
Yeah.
my word.
But at least they haven't killed each other. That's a big deal. Those what the